I'm Terry Kevlar, renegade cop who doesn't play by the rules, and you're watching Randy Annie's review of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 7. Now before Andy gets into his review, let me just say this episode was amazing. Episode 6, barf me out, dude. But this episode, it was just wonderful. I couldn't take my eyes off this episode, and may I just say, what Jaime did took some massive cojones. He just ripped those balls and ate them. That's how he managed to do that. Jaime, mad respect to you, my dude.
Thanks, Terry. We'll get to Jaime in a bit, but I first want to obviously talk about the meeting that happened between pretty much everyone that matters at this point, besides Sansa and Arya and all of them. I think the first thing I highlight here is Tyrion and how he was just so spoken over because he's the dwarf and blah 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 blah. And I really didn't like that, but I liked that he stood his ground and then he started talking and they made the Greyjoy go sit down, and that was awesome. And he brought up some good points, although Cersei was stubborn as ever and didn't want to listen to what he had to say, which is a shame. But what I liked is Jon, and I liked Jon's frankness. Sure, it's not the way to get Cersei with you, but it was the way for him to keep his honor. And as he said, you can talk about my father all you want and how that kind of thinking is what got him killed, but you know, he's true to his word, and if he doesn't stay true to his word, and if all these false promises keep getting thrown around, then words don't mean anything. And I really respect that kind of thinking, because that's the kind of thinking I have myself. So, well done to you, Jon. Well done to you. And Daenerys coming on her dragons, as always. I mean, I don't necessarily support the decision, but it could have been worse. I guess she could have burned a ring of fire around the whole arena or whatever the hell it was. So I guess she didn't make the worst decision she could have, but at the same time, was it really necessary to ride on your dragons? I don't think so, because it didn't seem to change Cersei's mind all that much. And on Cersei, I liked how they stayed true to her character, in the sense of, at first I thought, yeah, sure, these White Walkers and whatever that she sees have horrified her, but come on, she doesn't submit that easily. And like, sure, it's like, yeah, I want terms and whatever, but I thought, nah, Cersei is more stubborn than that. And then they showed later in the episode, yep, she's definitely more stubborn than that. She is definitely 1,000 times more stubborn than that. And I like that they stayed true to her character. Good job on the writers this episode. They really nailed it as compared to the last episode, which they didn't really nail it at some of the points. But this whole episode, I felt like they consistently really did well. How they portrayed Cersei, the wench, as I like to call her, really solidified how good the writing was in this episode. It was a little predictable at times, but nevertheless, it was a great darn episode. And as Terry Kevlar mentioned, I want to talk about Jaime Lannister next, because Jaime Lannister, besides Eddard Stark, who is dead now, for a while now, is my favorite character, besides Eddard. And I know Jaime started out as an asshole in the beginning, but that was only because people acted like asses to him, and that was the only way he could understand, you know, how to act. And the more people showed him compassion and things like that, the more he became a good person. And the more I saw him under Cersei's leash, the more annoyed I got. And the more he was under Cersei's leash while she was queen, the more I saw him become horrified or annoyed with her decisions, you know. It's like there were always these little looks that he would give, like, I liked his decision. I liked that he finally stood up for himself and he was like, I intend to keep this promise. I intend to go and fight the White Walkers with the North, with Daenerys and all of them. I intend to do it. Kill me if you must. And I must be honest, that is what made me realize that he is my second favorite character. I always knew he was one of my favorite characters, but second favorite, I realized that today. This is Game of Thrones, and when she gave the order, I thought he might actually die. And in that moment, when there was that tension of thinking, even before she gave the order, I thought, ooh, this could end pretty badly for Jaime. I was thinking, oh no. And then when she gave the order, I was nearly about to tear up. I was about to go full blubber baby, you know. And then he was like, I don't believe you, and walks past, and it was like, yes, Jaime. Yes. I love Jon Snow, like, his integrity is the best in this series, but Jaime, for some reason, he just can't be beaten for me this series in terms of how much I like him, especially after getting those balls and just using them to be like, screw you, Cersei, I got balls, I'm gonna make my own decisions, even if they get me killed. Now, we've talked about the Lannisters a lot. Let's talk about the Starks, or more specifically, Arya Stark and Sansa Stark. And, oh, whew, Littlefinger dying. Just, it's like an angel's kiss, I tell you, because, wow, what a great scene. Sure, seeing his throat get cut open and things was a little bleh, but still, it was like, bleh, you know? It was so great to see him finally be freaking killed, destroyed, after everything he had done, and finally Sansa was like, this guy's manipulating me, time for Arya and I to just freaking end it, you know? But I was hoping one of the Stark, one of the people that helped the Starks would have done it, like the person that Baelish was like, oh, you take me away from here. I hope that he might have done it, but either way, the Stark pulled out the dagger. So it was still very satisfying, and seeing him die anyway would be satisfying no matter who did it. Seeing him in desperation just try to twist words and Sansa be like, nope, 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 I'm gonna twist this back at you, boy, I'm gonna twist this back at you, boy, was pretty awesome, because finally Sansa learned, and finally Sansa was like, Littlefinger, psh, Littlefinger, more like dead finger. Terrible joke, I know, that's kind of the point. I also want to quickly talk about Theon. Seeing him almost confess his sins to Jon, you know, I like that he's kind of turning into a different person. And you could see a mutual understanding there. Jon was still like, you're kind of a bastard, as ironic as that may seem, even though technically he isn't a bastard. You know, just seeing Theon pretty much be like, you know, I feel terrible about what I did, and now I've got to go support the one person that supported me through this entire thing, even when I was a big asshole, you know what I mean? I just like that he was taking responsibility, and I like that little retrospective that him and Jon had, you know, because they were like, Eddard is a part of me, Eddard is a part of you, and I feel like as time goes on, those wounds will heal, and they will be able to enjoy each other's company again. Now, probably not fully, obviously, you know, it's not going to be a close bond or anything, but I think they might be able to sit in the same room, share some beer, share some ale, and laugh. I don't think it'll ever get to like a, ooh, you're my brother kind of status, but I think it could get to a, you know, you're a cool guy, you're a friend sort of thing. And seeing Theon stand up for himself, and when like the guy was like, I'm gonna kick you in the balls, and he's like, joke's on you. That was that was funny, but at the same time I was like, yeah, get him, Theon. And then Theon killed him without even realizing that that's what he had done. And when he'd done it, he was like, well, we're gonna go save her now, so yeah, you better follow me. And then there was Sam coming back, and Dany and Jon knocking boots. And the reason I lumped those two together is because, well, we all knew it was incest when they did it, but they didn't know it was incest. But as soon as Bran was like, they need to know, I was like, oof. When they find out, I'm not sure about Daenerys. I just feel like since she's a Targaryen, she might not care as much. That may seem a little bit discriminatory, but I don't know. But I feel like Jon will be like, can I take my semen back, please? I feel like that's what Jon's gonna be like. Also, seeing that Bran, the three-eyed raven, wasn't completely correct about everything, was actually kind of humanizing in a way, and I enjoyed that. I really did, and I think, again, good on the writers' part. Now, the last thing to talk about was the White Walkers going and just decimating the wall. They just took a metaphorical fist and just slammed it through that wooden plank like they were Bruce Lee or something. I swear, man. They come there, and I'm like, okay, they might have a little bit of time, you never know, you know, and they might just sit there, wait there, just to be a little bit conniving and stuff like that. And it's like, nope, bring out the dragon. Most of the wall gone. And by luck, the Ginger Wildling and a few others survived because part of the wall stayed. Now, that seems like it's plot armor. I'm not sure if George R.R. Martin, if he was writing this, would even keep them alive, but hey, either way, it was brutal. it was also pretty stark, get the pun, and realistic in a sense, or as realistic as one of these things can be. And it was just kind of cool, but also sad to see this fallen dragon just decimate the wall without even trying. I was like, well, the wall, sure, is meant to be to keep out wildlings, but it's also meant to be mostly to keep out the White Walkers. So what's the point of this damn wall if as soon as they get a dragon, they can just be like, brrr, bang, gone wall, just gone, decimated, destroyed.
Yeah, Jon and Dany, you know, boinky boinking. When they find out that they're related, that might go down just a little bit gnarly. And not in a good way. Not in a good way at all. But you want to know the final verdict? Well, Andy has shat on the last episode. Andy has thought the most recent episodes have just barely managed A-minuses, but this episode, I am telling you, was one of the best ones we have had in a long time. Better than season 7 episode 4. It didn't need all the big battles to be that way. This episode gets an A with a righteous seal of approval. Again, not good enough for that radical seal of approval, but a righteous seal of approval nonetheless. And I was stoked by this episode, and Andy was also stoked by this episode. That doesn't mean I don't got my eye on you. If you make another shitty episode, you know Terry Kevlar is coming to your doorstep, riders, with my gun, with my Glock, and I'm a cop that doesn't play by the rules, so I'll take justice into my own hands and make sure that you write these episodes right. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Andy because it'll just make his day righteous. And you know what? If you don't, the Renegade Cop is going to be coming for you next.